Morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Let me just go back to my chat and see if there's anyone actually watching at the moment. I've gone live 10 minutes early just to see if this is going to work properly, and I'll explain the situation as we go through it. So give us a shout. Tell me if there's anyone up and watching. Looks like I've got one up at the moment on. Let me have a quick look. I don't know what that thing is on the right hand side. We've got one up on locals. I've got no one on Rumble at the moment. Jules Ann, Evening Dee and Patriots. So it's not showing me any rumbles. So you'll have to tell me as we go live. And I've only just sent it out, and you will see people. Give me a 5B5. Susan Riley. Hello. How are you, Susan? Jules Ann, 67. Evening Dee and Patriots. I've started to see some people coming through. It's got a total of 4 on there at the moment, but Rumble ticker doesn't seem to be working for some strange reason. Let's have a quick look. So I'll just wait until we get a little bit nearer. But I'm hoping that Rumble is actually working here already. Mr. Dave 991. Yeah, not quite sure how that's working at the moment. I'm trying to work out why. Let me have a look. If that's the one there, that one's hitting me from that side. I'm not sure. What I want to do is turn these lights out. For some reason, that one ain't on properly. I'm literally not working off of another camera, etc. But what I am doing is currently working off my laptop, which is in my sort of living room. Right, I've got 2 sets of lights set up there. Someone kindly come round today and helped me pin this to the wall, well, actually to the outside area. So it's because with all these books on it, it carries a lot of weight, and it's just sitting there. And I was thinking sooner or later that's going to go boom if I don't sort it out. So most of my books, etc., are on there, and there's a few things that I will go through. Let me have a look. It's odd entirely that Rumble says it's not actually. It's saying I ain't got any viewers on Rumble. How many people watching this on Rumble can actually see this? It's not actually coming up in my little thing there. I don't know why. But if I tell you what happened today, you're going to think this is quite funny. What I'm living in is a cob cottage. So we've ordered some stuff in, some big brackets to go on the outside wall and put my. It's like a motorized dish. It's only small. I've showed it to you last night. You cannot get a fixing into a cob wall. So lucky enough, the neighbour sort of see what he was doing, but I've got to order another piece of kit. It's come to a monkey. Well, not a monkey, just under a monkey. 500 quid. And it sits on a pitch roof, and you don't have to use anything to put it in. So, but prior to that, I spoke to the neighbour, and he's got a flat roof opposite. So I said to him, "Is there any chance of putting it on temporarily, until I've got this kit coming from America?" He went, "Yeah, no, that's all right." He said, "As long as it's temporary and you don't damage my felt flat roof." I said, "No." He said, "The fellow who was with me, I'm not going to use his name because he said he don't want any shout outs on it, but he's very helpful." Right, we drove round. We went to this gaff, right? I said, like, the type of place has got this stuff that we need is like B&Q. So he went, "Oh, fuck B&Q." He comes from Devon. He went, "Fuck B&Q." He said, "I'll take you to where it's a farmer's warehouse, right?" And he said, "It's like B&Q, but much better." He said, "They got everything there. They got generators, you name it, this there, right?" There was even tractors in the car park, right? I couldn't stop laughing, right? There's a tractor in the car park, right? And we've gone in there, and everyone walking in there looked like farmers, right? And I forget what this place is called. Anyway, it ain't too far from me. It is the nuts, right? And it's all quality gear. It's not shit, right? So it is invariably more expensive, but we bought some stuff that we needed, got it all back, tried to attempt to put the sky dish on the wall, but it just, we couldn't get it fixing. So now I've got this other thing coming that sits on the roof, and it's angled. So once you get everything set up, it's also got weights either side, so it sits down. And once you turn a little knob and it goes like that, and then it takes the exact angle of the roof and sits dead flush with the roof either side, and then the dish just sits out the top. The cable just runs down as it normally is. So what I'm asking you, as the people now watching this, is it at 5x5 and is it better than what it was last night? The sound is not going to be super because it's an old laptop and it's the original old microphone, so that's not going to work properly. It's just going to be poor sound. But I've got to work out a way of configuring, which I will be doing shortly, putting everything on here so I can clamp it all up and then everything as it is. But I am going to buy a new laptop as soon as that massive refund comes through from the electricity people. So give me a shout. Is it freezing? I mean, last night's, it was again really pretty poor. So I'm hoping tonight's is a little bit better, because even though it's sitting temporary on the roof just across the road from me, it's all pinned in and coming in, etc. It's got a massive upload feed and a massive, and there's no and the thing is showing no obstructions or very little obstructions. So it should be good. John at large, how you doing? Linda, Piotr, Don 5v5. So as long as 5 minutes in before he mentions money. What does that mean? Dennis Langham. John Giles, bang on tonight. But hopefully I've got my refund coming, so I'll be able to sort some stuff out with that. What else have we got going on in here? So yeah, the whole thing currently still looks like bombs here, but at least once I get all this up and running, that was the most important thing, because I could just plot up and work out how to do it from there. But it's now setting up all the studio. So like, I've got 2 lights either side, right? But I might need to adjust them slightly. My throat is itching, which means it's either the dust or there's some cat stuff still in here. Good mum, yoo-hoo! Oh. So if anyone can let me know how many people are currently watching on Rumble, or even if Rumble's working, because at the moment Rumble don't look like it's working to me. Hang on a minute. Rumble. How many people are on there? Many people are on here. For some reason, it don't look like it's connected to the Rumble. Well, I can see the Rumble, but it don't look like it's connected too well. The only ones I've got connected are... Let me see. I wonder if I was to come out of this. What I don't want to do is end the stream, right? So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. It's probably going to go blank for a little while, right? Just going on to 8 o'clock. Hopefully that's come straight back up again. Let me go on here. Oh, let me put a message in here. Can you all see and hear? Hopefully that goes out to all of them. Still on Rumble, it's not showing me how many people are on there. Yet when I go on So now there's 100 people watching on there. Let me hit that one so it goes off. And that don't look too bad a picture, does it really? I'm frozen back to see you. Right, let's have a look. It's working tonight. Right. Well, hopefully. So I'm looking at. So now directly looking at the Rumble chat as well, but on Rumble. So you've got 117 people. Don't forget to hit the like button. There you go. Don't forget to hit the like button, and don't forget um, to share, because sharing is caring. And don't forget to subscribe if you are not subscribed. So I'm seeing all these Green Bakers on there. Kick Rangel. Hello, Kick Rangel. Shaky 1961. Mr. Freedom 31. Neil 56. Hello, Neil 56. How you doing? Gooner Mum. Real Truth, please. Jules 67. I can see on there. England on 1, 2, 3. Let's have a look. Shaky. Milking It Jenkins. Bintings 48 on YouTube, Dave. That's what I mean. So there's 125 on here, but the more you share, the more you care. All right, let me go back to my normal screen a second and see where you are. So for some reason, Rumble is not showing me on this end unless I actually go on the Rumble platform how many people's on it. But let's get back to a number of things that's going on. There are some subpoenas being fired off in America, and anyone thinks, you know what I've been telling you for quite some time, that America will take back America constitutionally. That is exactly what they're doing, and they're trying to reduce the level of violence that's going to be seen because they don't want a civil war, right? And they're proving to the world how you can do it, and especially Trump is doing it with tariffs. Has anyone just noticed that? I don't know if you know, but Brazil was pretty naughty in some of the stuff that they was doing. They've cracked down on. It's basically an extreme lefty organisation that's taken over, and the head of their Supreme Court is almost like a dictator, using the law in ways that you shouldn't use the law, basically. So Trump whacked him with no negotiation, with a minimum of 50% tariff. Now, just to make sure I'm clear on this, everyone keeps thinking, listen, don't listen to what the mainstream media are telling you about tariffs, right? There's a number of reasons why tariffs are very positive, and one is because it protects your own market and it protects your own workforce, right? So there's one strong reason why Trump wants to use tariffs, because it's the largest economy in the world. Our economy has been destroyed by the left, right? They have, over time, literally destroyed our manufacturing, destroyed our core industries, steel, coal, etc. And the reason they've done that is to destroy our economy, right? And that's all been done by traders. And it started a long time ago. Just as an example of that, and it's only an example, BT, and I know the people who are actually responsible for the decisions, they transferred all their call centers to India, and therefore took all the jobs out of this country and put them over there, right? What you'll notice, particularly about Scotland, is somewhere in the region of 25 to 30% of all the jobs in Scotland are administrative jobs for the British Union, right? That's how they keep them on side. Now, all of that is going to be collapsed in America because they was doing similar things with the federal government, with the federal government taking control, where the federal government was taking control of the individual independent states of America. And what Trump is doing is taking it back to the Constitution. He's taking it back to how America was originally set up. One is no external wars, right, and no internal wars either. But they did not want to get involved with other people's wars. But the key thing about the tariffs is he is saying, and again, I've spoken about this, but I've got books on here about the Hong Kong tax system, right? He's basically saying anyone on less than £200,000 a year will not pay any tax in America. So if you're a normal everyday working person, whether it be tips, whether you be salaried, whether you be self-employed, whatever way you set up, if you're not earning more than £200,000, you don't pay tax. So all of that money goes in your pocket, right? And then he's lowering the regulations on the corporations coming in. That's why they're all massively investing in America at the moment. But one of the things that he said to them with terms to reference to tariffs is they've said, well, how do we reduce our tariffs? And he said, well, one way is to manufacture the whatever it is you're manufacturing, instead of doing it in your own country, do it in this country, and then we'll lower the tariffs on your country. But then the American people have got jobs, right? He said, I'm not tolerating how this is currently set up. The North American Free Trade Agreement was basically, let me see if I can move this slightly. The North American Free Trade Agreement was basically a mirror image, literally a mirror image, of how the British Union had set up Scotland, England, Wales, and Ireland, right? And that's basically what he's turned around and said, that ain't happening no more. So if you imagine with Scotland at the moment, Scotland is a socialist nation. By the way, Trump knows that, right? It's a full Comanche socialist nation. That's why they don't pay for anything in Scotland. Like, when I say anything, I mean all these different bits and pieces. And this is not me bitching at the Scots, by the way. This is what the regime has put in place, right? And the people actually paying for that are the English. And what we've got to do now is look at what's going on. Set up a buy me a coffee, DD. I don't know how to set that up, but how would you set that up, and why is that a good thing? So New Age Templar, Juicy and Lucy, I was on his yacht last week, and he spoke well of you both. Juicy and Lucy, I was on his yacht last week, and he spoke. He's New Age Templar, Tim. Tim, if you're out there, again, just give me an indication whether this is better than what it was last night, because I've actually got the server. It is working, but it's just temporary sat on someone else's roof until I can get this equipment. I've paid for it. It's just being sent in from America now, so I don't know how long it's going to take to get here. I'm hoping within 7 days it'll be here. But anyway, let's get back to the subject. There's a number of things going on. So you can see a massive attack without weapons, without firing a bullet, right? Without getting America into wars. He's not interested. He wants a strong military. So if you want to play games with him, they say, all right, fair enough. If that's the way you want it, we'll come out fighting. But why? So it's their economy, right? It doesn't belong to the world. It belongs to the United States of America and the American people. And he is now protecting his economy and his people. And anyone who turns around, I'll ask the question of the audience, right? And I'll have to look on both sides of the thing because you can't get it. I want to ask this question to everyone, right? If there's anyone out there, I don't know if there's anyone out there you think's a troll, just ban them completely. Like, so moderators on all of the channels have complete and utter they can ban people completely, right? Don't tolerate it. We do too much in the background to tolerate trolls, and YouTube I'm not interested in, right? YouTube isn't the platform to be on. Rumble is, and a lot of people are going to find out soon, very soon, that YouTube is part of, right, the deep state in a big way, and all you've been doing is feeding the beast by going on it. Rumble is the place to go. Now, all of these things happening in the background, including some of the things that's happening in the United States at the moment, with them subpoenaing a number of the people to do with the visa. Everyone should understand what I'm talking about now. If you don't, I'm just making sure that everyone understands it. I just want everyone to understand that to try and take back a country that has been ruled by oligarch criminal cartels, and that is what you're seeing, right? For so long without putting the people. So if you're a proper president, you don't want your people to suffer. That's what President Trump is doing. He's taking back the nation constitutionally. Now we have got a serious problem in England with our judges. He's got the same problem over there. He is now. I don't know if you know this. He is just um, sanctioned the Brazilian Chief Justice of their Supreme Court because they directly attacked Twitter, they directly attacked another group of people online, and Rumble, and they basically said we're not tolerating it. And they've hit them with a 50% tariff. Let me go back to the tariffs just for a second because it's really important. So all the coffee now coming into America from Brazil. So think of all the Brazilian coffee, right? Overnight, right? And I think it started from tonight. There's a 50% tariff. What does that actually mean for the American people? And this is what you've got to be very careful of, right? It's not a bad thing. What happens is the Brazilian coffee manufacturers have to lower their prices, right? So there's the medium price, right, in America for coffee. The Brazilians now, the manufacturers, to stay at a competitive rate because of the tariffs in America, their biggest market for coffee, right, or one of the biggest markets for coffee, right, they then have to lower their manufacturing prices. What happens is the American people will roughly see it may be slightly more expensive, but not majorly, because what happens is Brazil has to take down their costs, right? To ensure they are still competitive in that market. So what Trump's saying is, we're not banning you from our markets. That's not what we're intending to do. We're going to make it so the manufacturers and the people of Brazil who work for the coffee growers and etc. are going to be looking at the regime and saying, you're putting us out of work because of what you've just done to American companies. And what they're doing is saying, now there's a tariff on all your goods. There are certain goods that he hasn't put tariffs on at the moment because America needs them goods anyway. But all of the other stuff, so especially luxury items like coffee, right? Believe it or not, that is a luxury item. He's caning them. I have told you all before. This happened. There's a few instances where it's happened in this not this country, but I can tell you a situation where there was a big issue with Denmark and Germany going back to the mid 1990s, right? And what happened was Denmark put, I think, 50, maybe 80%. I think it might have gone over 100%. I'm not sure what the percentages are, so don't. But it was massive. It weren't minor. And Denmark tariffed the cars coming into Denmark from Germany. And what happened then was people in England said to Denmark, so if we give you all the right-hand drive codes for a Mercedes or a BMW, we can buy that vehicle in, because what happened was the German manufacturers then had to lower their prices to compete in Denmark. Otherwise, they would have been so expensive. No one would have bought Mercs or BMWs. So I can't remember who the other company was. There's another big German company. It might have been Volkswagen. Might be one of. It was one of them that had trucks, right? Big trucks, and all of them, all of the tariffs went on them vehicles. So you could then, if you was in England, you could buy the vehicle in Denmark, right-hand drive, and as long as it didn't touch the ground over there, what I mean is not drive it. So you go over there, you insured it on. You don't register the vehicle in Denmark, right? So there's no duty whatsoever on that vehicle. And what they had to do is they had to lower the prices of the vehicles to make them still competitive. And then everyone started to flock to Denmark to buy their vehicles that had no duty on them whatsoever, because they was exporting them. Because they was exporting them, so the export business in Denmark started to increase, and everyone, people started seeing a profit in it. There was little businesses popping up all over the place. You had drivers going over from England with big trailers, picking up brand new Mercs and BMWs, bringing them in 30% brand new, discounted in England to England prices, and then they were selling the vehicles in this country at 30% discount. That's a lot of money when you're talking about, like 30 to 80,000 pound cars at the time. It was a lot of money. And then what happened was, you quite simply, just to make sure you get this, once you registered the vehicle over here, you only paid duty on what the vehicle would cost you in Denmark. So the duty in this country was less. So the German car makers and the German manufacturers was under so much pressure. They turned around to the German government and say, "Listen, it's not us who's got a dispute with the Danish government. It's you, right? And now what you're doing, we're going to be shutting our factories, and people are going to be unemployed because of what you've done, because you won't settle this dispute, right?" And then then Germany had to go literally to the Danish and say, "All right, we'll sort this problem out." And it took years, right? But eventually, it was all sorted out. But that's what I'm trying to say to you. Don't think it negatively affects you. It might have a fraction for a week or 2 weeks, right? But once the price adjustments have been made, and the other side have to do that, right? If they don't bring their prices down, they're automatically. So you see something in the shop, and it's gone up from, I don't know, £1 to £1.50, or it's gone from £1 to £2. Are you going to buy it? Well, the answer is no, you're not, because next to it is another coffee manufacturer from another area of the world, which is just as good as Brazilian coffee, and all of a sudden it breaks the habit, right? And that causes them a big long-term problem. So the Supreme Court in Brazil, and the Chief Justice in Brazil, has literally cost Brazil billions and possibly hundreds of thousands of jobs instantly for the stuff that he's done. And if there's an argument from anyone, the argument should be, don't listen to what the mainstream media are telling you, because they are communists, and what they're telling you is an absolute lie. All right, so I just want to make sure everyone understands that. Let me have a quick look. Juicy and Lucy, Graham will be speaking at Rise Above Radio in Fish. In the Fish? What's the Fish, man? August Bank Holiday. Rise Above Academy, right? Yeah. So again, I'm going to start promoting that one. I will be speaking and doing an English common law constitution seminar, where I'll get all the banners out and set it up. Hopefully Juicy and Lucy are going to be there, and probably a few others to help me set up, because we've got to take it all down again after. So I'm hoping we're going to have enough time to do all that. But I must say, that's probably the last one I'm going to do like that. And the simple reason is because we need to start doing our own seminars, setting up our own seminars, and people come along and we're doing that. There's lots of interest in it, and people want to hear what the English Constitution is. They like the delivery of it, because I'm actually showing, and the people are going around taking all the photos, and they're saying, no one's ever told us this before, right? That we've got a constitution, we've got a written constitution, we've got a codified constitution. We've got a common law constitution, the best constitution in the world. We exported it to America, right? So I'm just making sure that everyone understands that. Coffee's so overrated. Funny enough, I had a cup of coffee today, but I ain't really. I did have fish and chips tonight, though. But I still haven't sorted this place out enough. I've still got boxes everywhere. I've still got bits that I've got to try and organise and where to put them. I've got bits and pieces. I'm not even sure. When you're still thinking, I think I should have thrown that away. Why am I ever going to use that again? You have to be quite ruthless with it. Yes, indeed. We've even got a dog sitter. Good. That's what we want to see. Nice dog sitters. Graham will be speaking at Rise Above Radio. John Giles, coffee's so overrated. Juicy and Lucy, yes indeed, we've only got a dog sitter. D2, Texas. Yeah, Texas. I love Texas. New Age Templar, coffee is fine, especially Irish coffee with scotch and cream. Yeah, I'd rather have an English one though, with Devonshire cream and English whiskey. Then you've got an English coffee, then, haven't you? You should get me out there promoting England, eh? So let me just have a quick look. I haven't had a look and see. Let's see if I can turn that on to our main numbers and see how many people. So we've got 262 people watching on Rumble, but it's not showing on my main thing. Let me see if you can see this message. If I type a message out here, can you see this message on Rumble? Right, so I just want to make sure. So again, I'm not fully set up yet, but I'm trying to get as much as it back as possible. Let me go back off there and see if that comes up. That is Dragon. See, I can see that, but it's saying it's not connected. But I know it is connected. Don't forget to hit the like button, people. Try and take me over 100 likes. Don't forget to subscribe. It's crucially important. And don't forget to share. Right. The major point is, who said that, Dee? Dee, I bought my husband a bottle of English whiskey for his... Taffy Pack. Well done, hon. Taffy Pack, Dee, I bought my husband a bottle of English whiskey for his birthday. Good. It's lovely, I know. Single malt whiskey. From the English is absolutely superb. Can we get some pics from London Court? We had some pics of the London Court. I'm trying to think where they've gone. If someone wants to send me some pics of the London Court in my WhatsApp, I'll see if I can bring them up on the screen. Graham, it's so much better than last night's show. No freezing at the moment. 5v5. Oh, that's good. Right, so let me have a quick look at this. We'll go back and see if there's anyone else on there. The Intel skiff, Obama and the CIA connection. Obama's early days and his entire family's history working for Central Intelligence Agency. Let me tell you something. I think you're going to see some extremely shocking stuff coming out. And all of the stuff that we've been talking about for the last few years, people are going to say, how did you know that? And where we're not shocked by it, people will start to seriously question how we're being governed at the moment, because they are a criminal cartel that is governing the United Kingdom, otherwise known as the British regime. They are a criminal cartel. And the only way you're going to take this country back. So, again, I just want to make sure that we are winning, right? So the biggest thing that you've all got to understand now is, and I'm trying not to be negative to anyone, right? And I do mean that. I'm not having a pop at Tommy Robinson, right? I'm not having a pop at him. He's just been arrested again. He's a complete load of bollocks, right? I get all of that. I don't like the grifting side of it, and I don't mean that being funny. Listen, we all need money to keep moving forward and surviving on this, but for what we do, and we do a lot, none of these people, they're all British focused, right? And the Brits are the enemy, whether you like it or not. And a lot of now veterans and military are understanding that. You've only got to look at who are prosecuting you, right? It's British CPS that are prosecuting you for a number of different issues. It's no one else. It's the British, right? And they're attacking the veterans. And that's been going on for a very long time, by the way. And more people are seeing that, right? So it's a criminal communist cartel. It's not Nazi. It's criminal communist cartel. And it is the communists. And you can see that because of what the police are doing in the background. Doing the same thing, basically. There was a big case come out today. I'm trying to find it. And I will find it. I'll have to go and have a look and see if it comes up on my system. But getting back, to. So I don't want to be negative to this big thing happening in September, where everyone's coming in to London, right? But I keep telling people you're going into the lion's den. It's like going into the Romans in an amphitheatre where, the Christians would be brought in, you'd be slaughtered because, and it was just everyone watching, and it's a negative thing. What you've got to do is local people in every local area there is in England and Wales, right? The common law jurisdictions, in other words, you need to be getting out, getting organised. In particular, what I'm loving about what happened in Epping, I'm loving what and again, it's been hijacked by certain people. I'm loving what happened in Canary Wharf, etc., where the women have come out, and especially the English flags, right? What the British are terrified of, if you want to know what the regime fear most, it is the English, right? And it's the English rising. And the more you're seeing them English flags, right? So people like Paul Golding, again, I'm not bitching, I'm just telling you, he's built up a brand, Britain First, right? Most of the world is copying the ump with what the British have done all over the world, and he still can't see it, right? But when you get out on these places, you must do not buy a British flag, right? British and Britishness, right? And what they describe as being British is a legal fiction. It's only existed in the way that it exists today from 1947 and 1981, which is the British Nationality Act, right? If they knew the law and what had happened in the past, they would understand that a similar thing happened in 1708 and was taken down in 1711 by Queen Anne. And she abolished the act because it started to destroy England's culture. They knew they'd made a serious mistake and they stopped it dead, right? So again, whilst I am not, and I am absolutely not on what they describe as an ethno-nationalist, right? That's not what I'm about. But again, I just want people to understand from every aspect of this, it is the English that need to rise. You've only got to go back and look at the 2011 census. For the first time ever, they allowed English-only national identity, and 32.4 million people, right, signed it. British was a minority, and half of them are foreigners. So I think it was 11 million. I can't remember the exact figure. I think it was 11 million. So if you say half of that are foreigners, that's like 5.5 million, right? So then you've got 5.5 million who are just confused, right? Look at what happened with the Soviet Union, right? The Soviet Union, and in particular Joseph Stalin, created Soviet as a nationality. You are now a Soviet, right? You are Soviet. You wasn't allowed to be Russian. You stood up in front of a Soviet court and said, I am Russian, you'd end up in the gulag. That's exactly what's going on in this country at the moment. And it is the English that need to rise. It is the English flag that needs to be seen. The Devon flag, in particular, with the English flag, needs to be seen. It needs to rise. And people need to understand, and I think a lot of people are understanding this now. Listen, monarchs have gone pear-shaped in the past. Governments have gone pear-shaped in the past. The judiciary's gone pear-shaped in the past. King Alfred hanged 44 judges, right? People need to understand it's not the first time in history it's happened, but you're being brainwashed, right, in this Britishness thing. And if you getting back to the Soviet, right, it's a really funny statistic. When I say funny, I mean funny peculiar, right? Because the statistic for the UK from the census of 2011 was something like 19% of the population believed they're British, right? 67% technically were English, right? English only national identity, right? So it's a massive difference. Can you see what's causing them a problem? Because all of a sudden the English are saying, we ain't having this. You're erasing our identity. You're erasing our ancient history. England's been a country for 1,100 years, right? And the British have only existed for 300 years. And within 70 years of coming into existence, they attacked English dominions in the United States of America, right? That's what the independence was about. Funny enough, I've got the Declaration of Independence over there at the moment. I'm going to put it up on the wall somewhere I can, or see if I can frame it, which I got from Cossack Comedian. So getting back to this with the Soviet, people need to understand this, and I know that you all get this, but if anyone watches this in future, they'll understand that when they dissolved the Soviet Union, and the Soviet Union was no different to the British Union, no different to the European Union, and no different to the operation currently of the American Union, but unlawfully, I may add, which is what Trump is undoing and taking it back to the way it should be. When they dissolved the Soviet Union in 1991, suddenly there was Russia and Russians. They got their nationality back. The motherland of Russia come back, right? They had a 20-year period where criminals and a lot of them were associated with organised crime from all over the world, went into Russia and started to literally rape Russia. I don't mean rape as in physically, well, they actually probably did. But I'm talking about stripping all their money away from them and doing these deals that weren't in favour of Russia. And then come along someone that understood how the mafias worked and understood, but he also drew a line. And he said to them people, in business, you can do what you want, right? But if you harm the motherland, if you cross that line, you're gone. And he was sitting around a table with about between 7 and 10. There's a video of this, between 7 and 10 oligarchs, and he basically told them what their future was. You either behave yourself, or we'll have to deal with you. And 2 of them told him to fuck off. Within 7 days, those 2 were both dead, right? So I'm not saying Putin is an angel, but sometimes to deal with these things, it's a bit like General Patton and the Second World War, right? It's a bit like Cromwell, right, as a military leader. And remember what Trump is. He actually went to a strategic military command, I forget what it's called in New York, right, where he came out top as a military strategist. He understands exactly, and he's got an IQ of something like 180, right? He ain't no mug. So that's all I'm saying to you at the moment. The clips I've done for Graham on TikTok are doing fab. Great viewing numbers. Woohoo! Yeah, well done. So anyone on TikTok, don't forget just to go and have a look at any of them. New Age Templar, Bayek, D2. You sure type better than me. Who's that? Got to get this info out to as many people. We've all got to learn to be English again. It is, I sound like I'm stuttering. It is so important that you all understand the core element of what you need to do, right? So I'm in Devon now, right? Devonshire is one of the most key strategic areas of England for our constitutional history. And people need to understand that the farmers here are crucially important. The people here are crucially important. The people here need to understand their constitutional history and how important they are into England, and to stop this nonsense of Britishness, which is a legal fiction that once they slap it on your head and you accept it, right, you can renounce it. But if you accept it, what does it mean? It means you haven't got a constitution. You're not an Englishman. You're not a Scotsman. You're not an Irishman. You're not a Welshman. You're not a Cornishman. You're a Brit. And as a Brit, you have no rights, right? Because the government has decreed that you haven't got any rights, that we can do what we want anytime we want, and that Parliament is sovereign, which isn't the law of the land. They try and tell you it is, but if you go back through history, you'll find out that is not the truth. There is a separation of powers, and we need to make sure that we start enforcing that. Right? So that's the main thing. Bob D, I'm 10 minutes away from the cathedral. From what, Kate? New Age Templar. Bob D, I'm 10 minutes away from the cathedral. I'll be there for a visit. Lincoln Cathedral is top world round there. Let me have a look and see. Who's a New Age Templar? Oh, hang on a minute. So New Age Templar, is that Paul? I won't say your last name. Is that Paul? New Age Templar, is that Paul? Right, so it's really important that everyone gets to understand more than anything anywhere, right? Don't forget this bit of kit. I haven't fully set up yet. I am trying to sort it all out. I've got to sort out another laptop. Bob D, I'm 45 South Templar. Is this some sort of code? I'm 10 minutes away from Cathedral. New Age Templar. Let's see if I can see anything coming up there. So, once you understand, and it's not difficult, right? Listen, listen. Stop this, and stop this other bit of nonsense as well. Like, I'm British English. Listen, fuck off. Listen, you're either English, Scottish, Welsh, or Irish, right? You're not any of these other things. And if you go back, I see a great thing I posted out today, and the bloke said, listen, he said, if you go back 40 years ago, everyone used to call themselves English. No one used to say they was British. The only time people refer to British, and it's the same as America, by the way. Like in America, you would be Texan, or you would be a Hawaiian, or you'd be, Californian, or you'd be, because internally people knew you had slightly different, and then they'll say, oh, you're from Texas, or you're from that. Yeah. No one used to say, no, I'm an American, right? You were known as an American externally, right? And to some extent, I'd sort of get that, apart from Britannia was a Roman name for this area. And that's what we've got on. Good evening, everyone, and Graham. Rosemary, how you doing? D2. Let me see if I can go and see. I'm going to have to go and have a look and see if there's any questions on Rumble. So I'm now looking at Rumble, but I'm not seeing my screen properly. Don't forget, I've got to try and sort all that out, which I will do. I've got another little screen there that someone has given me today. Steve has given me today. Juicy and Lucy has just put out the Hamlin lectures, really important to anyone. Listen, if there's anyone out there, especially when you hear people saying things like, oh, he talks out of the bollocks or whatever, right? Just to make sure, you should all understand that Hamlin lectures is completely free. It's the common law, natural justice, everything that we discuss on here. And the lectures are by Lord Denning, Sir William Wade, Sir John Laws, and they was designed so people like you would understand what the law is. And all you've got to do is download them and read through them, right? It's not like reading through this lot, which is really weird. Where, Pat? Real Colin Wise is out there. Yeah, I see you telling everyone that you hijacked this channel. You did not hijack this channel. I do think it was funny, by the way. Graham, are you going on 4-1? I need to speak to him. I'm hoping to be on there for tomorrow night. I'll see what happens. Grasshopper, Juicy and Lucy. One night, what I might do is walk out of here for a laugh, go and buy a pint in the pub, and you'll see how quick it is before I'm sitting back in front of you with a full pint of Guinness, right? And you'll all laugh. It's about a 3-minute walk. UK uses Soros with voting software. Yeah, no, it does. EGNR. John Godley, how you doing, son? I did think it was funny, by the way. I'm not having a pop here. And I do remember when I first see that and it come up on the screen and I was laughing, right? Because you remember the pub and then I had a picture of Donald Trump behind me, and then what the mad jock did, Colin Wise, right, was he superimposed his own picture of him in a kilt instead of Donald Trump on that picture, and then I brought it up on the big screen, and I was just laughing because he literally got the video. And listen, took a bit of time he must have done to do it the way he did it, but I did think it was fucking hilarious, right? But there you go. Well done, Robert Young. A great book and lovely poems. Rob Young, and don't forget, I've sold another poetry book, all money made. Yeah, listen, Rob is a superb geezer. He's now out of the military and drives a fucking great big truck. I spoke to him one night when he was stuck in it, and I rang him up. He put a little message out about he was stuck somewhere. And I thought, I'll put a thing on there. What's your telephone number? He told me that, and then I rang him. And he went, who's this? And I said, Dee Dee. And he went, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. And I said, yeah, but you ain't doing nothing. You're stuck in traffic. And he was so like, and then we was having like a laugh. He said, I can't believe I'm speaking. And I said, there you go. I don't forget, I'm just a normal, everyday working person. There is nothing special about me, apart from I love my country. I love my countrymen and women. I love the common law of England and our constitution, and we need to take the country back. That's it. There's nothing else to it. So without me, what I don't want to do is waffle on here tonight. But so once I've got set up here again and I've got my 3 screens up, I'm probably going to be looking for another computer over the next few days, and then I've got to set up some sort of table and lighting system, and it'll all work properly. Right? Just to let you know. But I am grateful for all the assistance I've had. Many people that have helped me. And really good people as well. I mean, genuinely nice people, which is what I like. And especially hearing some of the stories and seeing some of the photos I see today. And again, like just going around here, I'll tell you one other thing that I have to get used to. And you'll, if there's anyone's moved quite drastically in terms of a lot of mileage away, where. So say if someone was to say to me, oh yeah, like we were only at Exeter, blah, 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 right? So my mind still thinks it's a 5-hour drive, right? When it's actually probably 20, 30 minutes away from where I am. And different areas. So what we did today, because the guy who was here comes from Devon, we got a map on the wall, and then I put little tabs on. So he said, this is where you are on the map, right? Because it's hard to get your bearings, especially when you're not, I haven't really been out. I ain't been in a car, but I emptied my car out. It's another nightmare. And I need a fucking Uber and all. That on there, so we put a little tag on it where I am, right? And then he said, like, Oakhampton, you're 15 minutes away. And then we put another little tag on the map. And then Exeter's over there, and then this place is over here, and there's this little place over here. But what you've got to realise is that he said you're in central Devon, and you can get to either side within an hour. You can get to the coast that side, or you can get to the coast that side. Then he started explaining to me the coast and the wind, right? Because he just happens to be, he knows a lot about the sea. And he was just saying to me why the coast is different there, why the property prices are different there, as in to the other side on the south side. That's it really. But let me have a quick look. Middlesex fan, good evening. Middlesex man, how you doing, son? So we ain't heard anything back. I'm trying to make sure all of this is set up within reason. I've got a printer sitting there on top of a microwave, believe it or not. I am going to try and organise everything, and then I can kick in and do what I've got to do. I went out and came back in. Sound is okay now. Okay. So just to let everyone know on there, is the sound good or bad? Just to let everyone know. I sold my Henry Hoover on Gumtree with a plastic crown super glued to it. King Henry, £100. It's funny. There you go. Change my picture. Set up looks great. Is DD. Well, again, this isn't the full Comanche setup. I've got some other stuff up there. I've got to work out how I'm going to do it. I've got some other lighting up there. I don't know which bit of lighting to use. There's another bit of kit I can set up. I've got another. If I showed you it, it's not even here. I think it's back over the other side. But so if I get a little laptop with this special connector, then I can connect everything into the back of it. I'll be using this. I don't know whether to use an external camera, but I definitely want to be using a mic again properly. Because this piss said you're drinking all Guinness. I'm not drinking all the Guinness. Funny enough, though, the landlady was really lovely the other night. She poured me a pint of Guinness, and then I took a little drop of it, and then she walked back and she looked at it, and she picked it up and said, "Oh, what are you doing?" She poured it away. She went, "That don't look right." And then she switched over pumps and done another pump, and then pulled from other Guinness fruit, and it was lovely. So she actually realised that it was probably, I don't know, dragging the back of it. So the sound won't be very good on this. Hopefully the sound's better than what it was last night. It won't be as echoey, etc. But it depends how I set the mics up. And I've got a really good mic here that was on the setup of the other place. But it's just getting it all set up. And then obviously you need to just sit here and set up a camera system. I don't know how to do that. But what I don't want to do is knock the camera or knock things and it all goes pear-shaped. But I'm very pleased to see that we've got 311 on there. We've got 77 on there. So we're getting up to 400, I think, viewers. I'm not sure how many we've got on Twitter. But I do want to say this to everyone, right? And I'm not being negative towards Tommy Robinson, right? Listen, there's certain things I disagree with completely with Tommy Robinson. Listen, but you can't do everything. You can't be perfect towards someone, right? But there are certain things that he absolute. As soon as he said it, I said that's a fucking liberty, right? And the main problem with him, for me, right? And I am not. Everyone knows me. I'm not a lefty. I'm not a righty. I'm about the rule of law, right? I am about being English. I care about England. I am not interested in Israel, right? And the same way as America cares about itself, right? If they lean too far towards Israel, everything will backfire, right? Backfire on them. So all I'm saying to everyone who's listening to this, yeah, is you understand my concern is for England and England only. I'm not interested in the British Isles. Everyone should run their own countries. Self-determination is what drives me. Nothing else, right? That's why when people from Cornwall turn around and say, we want independence, I say, yeah, good on you. You should have independence. If you can run your own country, run your own country. And then someone in the pub was saying, well, how they get, what if we have to pay to get in? I should put a tariff on them. It's as simple. I said, if they start playing up, the main economy is England, right? So you don't want to threaten people economically, but it's better than having a war, right? And that's exactly what Trump's doing. He's just saying, we're the economy. We've got to rebuild. Listen, this country can be absolutely roaring as a manufacturer, as an engineer, for engineering excellence. Shut down the idiotic Cambridge University and Oxford University. Shut them down, right? Go back to training people in proper law. And again, we can even bring over some of the American judges who are law judges that can sort out a legal system. It's not difficult to solve our problems. And I just want people to know that. Urban Decay. Northern Ireland. My dad put me onto your channel, mate. You know that wee man from Northern Ireland. I'm learning now, Graham. Good work, mate. Oh, no problem. Urban Decay, Northern Ireland. New Age Templar, Urban Decay. Hello and welcome. Yeah, make sure. Anyone new come into this channel, understand you're all welcome. And if you're from Northern Ireland, understand this, right? The Northern Irish are more English than the English, right? They absolutely got it from day one, what was going on out there. And they're very Ulster independence. That's the way it should be, right? Northern Ireland, You've never been told there is another option, and that option is independence. And if anyone says you're too tiny as a country, just say, well, what about fucking Isle of Man then? It was never in the European Union. They got their own parliament and they govern themselves, right? The English would never ever let you down, right? The English would back you to the hill. If there's any problems, right, you need, and unfortunately, right, because of what the British have done to you, you need a hard border, and you need to start protecting your community again. It's as simple as that. The Devonian, living the chat tonight, loving the chat tonight, Graham, thanks. The Devonian is that. So you come from Devon, do you? Listen, listen, I was told today, listen, you've got to get your R's. Once you said, listen to the action, once you get your R's, right, he said, you'll become Devon. And I said, can I wish some Devonshire cream? And he went, oh, you're getting it already. We're pointy Guinness. You got to run with the R's, right? And then someone else said to me, you need a bit of fucking strawing and that. So I was like, yeah, no, listen, I will be. But just getting out, I know it sounds weird, but I am going to be getting up, aiming to get up at 5 o'clock every morning. This may sound strange to a lot of people. Make your bed, right? Make your bed, tidy your room, get up, go downstairs, get ready, and go on a 1 mile minimum walk in the country, right? And start coming back to what your mind should be, right? And once you've done that, you work a few hours on whatever cases we're working on research I'm working on, and other bits I'm working on, and then you do the research for the show, and then you will just build it and build it and build it and build it and build it, right? That's how you bring everything back. But Devon is crucially important to England. And I was talking to occasion in the pub. He said, "Does it mean you're going to start your own MP?" I said, "Yeah, possibly." I said, "If they don't bankrupt me first." He went, "Good." And I said, "What, would you vote for me?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "I fucking hate MP." He said, "I'll vote for you." Right. So again, right, what you got to do is keep that energy going. And every group, there needs to be groups of us. Going back to Tommy Robinson, I'm not being negative about him, right? But what I'm saying is, anyone who pulls all these big people, ego-wise, into London, see how great we are, you're going into the lion's den. That is the most dangerous thing you can do to pick to real people. What you need are them people and them organisers creating hundreds, thousands of movements in their own areas, right? Because there's only 120,000 police, right? That's it in the whole country. And once you start going all over the country, they can't move. You need to be a lot cleverer in how we start bringing this about. To a large extent, I'm talking completely peacefully, right? When I say a large extent, if you injure, harm any of us, right? Again, people don't realise this. We have a duty in this country to, one, uphold the law as citizens of the realm, or subjects of the realm, and we have a duty, right? If we see a police constable committing an offence, we have a duty to arrest that person, right? There is no reason for them to use violence, to even threaten violence which is technically an assault, is a threat of violence, right? That's what assault means. Battery is when they actually hit you with their baton, right? Pulling their baton out when you've done nothing wrong is assault, right? Because they're threatening you with violence, and they can be arrested for that, right? Just to make sure everyone's aware, you need to be trained in what you can and cannot do, but we then need to make sure that we're bringing all of them things up. And again, private prosecutions. There's certain things they've done in the background by the Supreme Court, which is unlawful, right? But we need to sort all that out. New Age Templar, spiritual Graham will shine through soon. Yeah, no, I do believe this is spiritual as well. We need to take back this country. Oh, what that was. I hope there wasn't a cat that's just jumped into my bedroom upstairs. I just heard a boom. But anyway, that's it. So I am going to love you and leave you all. organised by messenger pigeons. Who's got some? Listen, I don't think. I think messenger pigeons are one terrific way of communicating if you can work out how to do it. Spiritual. Denise, I joined the Knights Templar. Organised by messenger pigeons. Who's got some? Let me have a look. Right, people. So I will be back live tomorrow night. I don't know what I'll be doing, whether I'll be on 412 tomorrow night. I've got to see how this is working. What I will say to everyone watching this, and I'm sorry, for some reason, it's not working on the chat at the moment. So I can see it if I cross over to Rumble, but I can't see it in my own chat. For some reason, the chat is disconnected. I don't know why. But I will say this, right? The Constitution is the solution. You are seeing the United States of America take back the United States of America constitutionally. That will spread to this country because everyone's going to say, well, where do they get their constitution from? And everyone's going to say England, right? Not the British, the English. And again, the Scots had the claim of right. So again, there's lots of things being said in the background with what I describe as the Brits in Scotland, which is the SNP and to some extent Alba, right? Because the way they attack the English, they're actually very British in their thinking, right? We're into that. We're not into attacking the Scots, the Welsh, the Irish, or the Cornish, or the Welsh, right? We all get on, and we get on as working people, and we'll solve our own problems, and we don't need them. We certainly don't need a centralised government, and especially we don't need a centralised government that incorporates the judicial system and the monarchy all rolled up in one. We've got tyranny. So the Constitution is the solution. Don't forget, I'll be back tomorrow night, 8 p.m. If you don't see me for any reason, 9 out of 10 times it's going to be because there's a transmission problem. But we need to find a way of communicating anyway. But there you go, Jason, Peter, Reardon, keep up the work. I am going to carry on, and we're going to smash this together. Listen, I can only do this with your support. The more you share, the more you care. The more you subscribe, and most importantly, hit the like button. Let me go and check and see how many people have hit the like button now. We are now at 129 likes for coming up, or just over an hour, right? So again, I'm going to try and set everything up. It's going to take me a bit of a while to get it all squared off, but when it is, it'll be up and running. Won't be moving anywhere, and I'll be back to Monday to Friday, and then getting out of the weekends doing what we've got to do. And again, we need to bring. So I need a lot of help in Devon. Anyone out there in Devon? I've moved to Devon because you're so important as a shire, and I need as much help as possible in getting that message out. And especially as I can see that something is happening. All right, and we're soon going to get there. That's it. Good night. God bless, and I will see you tomorrow night.